Good afternoon, Lee. How are you?
How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, doing well, thanks. Thank you for coming on, nice and early.
Mate, the timing of this is absolutely horrendous.
I know, I can imagine. Yeah, you did say.
We've just had the boiler's just broke.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
It's like we're like Eskimos at the minute, mate. The house is absolutely freezing, so I've got to try. We're based in Warwick near Birmingham, so I've got to drive back over to. Our mum lives in Birmingham, so I'm going to drive over there and try and get a couple of heaters off her. So
okay.
Hopefully we'll. But no, I've got a little presentation ready here, mate. So hopefully it'll be what you want.
Yeah.
How are you? You okay?
Yeah, doing well, thanks. Yeah, I live in Coventry, so I'm not too far from you as well.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's quite cold out there.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, we've got about a minute, then we'll get cracking. And yeah, thank you very much again.
Will I be able to share my screen?
I made your co-host, so you can share your screen. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant.
Yeah, we'll give it a minute, then I'll present this whole event, and I'll bring you in.
No problem, mate. No problem.
Cheers. Okay, it is now 3:00, and we want to kick off this amazing session in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And I'd like to welcome you all to this CLP UK football event. We want to thank, of course, our pastor, Richard, for giving us the opportunity to do this. And of course, we'll thank you, all of you, for coming on, joining into this amazing conversation, not with anyone else, not with someone that knows a bit about football, but someone that is professional, someone that has a pedigree that we can talk about all day. And this person is Lee Carsley. So I'm inviting Lee Carsley to discuss football. And it's more for you guys, the youth, those who are still aspiring to be footballers, those who not just looking to football just as a footballer, but there's different roles in football that people want to pursue. And Lee is going to take us through where he's been and give us a bit of opportunity to discuss people's downfall, and he will also explain the standards of being a footballer, what it means to become a footballer, which is very important. Oops, let me just put my camera back on. Okay, yeah. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Lee Carsley to this conversation. So please keep your mics muted. There'll be an opportunity after the presentation to ask questions. So get your questions ready. Don't try to ask the same question because time is limited. As Lee mentioned, his boiler is broken, so he probably needs to go back and get some heaters on. But so we
defrost the family.
Exactly, yeah. You might be the fit one, but nobody's like you. Thank you very much, Lee. The floor is yours.
No problem. So what I've done with this presentation, guys, and by no means do I know all the answers, but I've made a lot of mistakes. I've been a footballer or in football since I was 15. I'm now 46. I've been lucky enough to have some amazing highs and also some incredible lows. So what my thoughts was to just to sort of talk you through the journey that I went on and start from the start. Really, I'll try and zip through this because I know sometimes on Zoom calls it's not as good as being in the room with someone, but potentially if you get a bit of benefit out of this talk, and we do eventually come out of lockdown, I'll be more than happy to meet up and deliver this in person with you all. So, all right, I'll start from the start, guys. So, my journey, where did I start? I started at a team called the 3Cs. The 3Cs stands for the Catholic Community Centre, which is a football team that's based in Chelmsley Wood in Birmingham. So I started there when I was 10. I come from a one-parent family in Sheldon, which is not far from Birmingham City's ground. I'm from a background potentially that you could say I was not meant to succeed in terms of the opportunities that I was given and the area that I was from. So I had to make a lot of my journey was based around the effort that I put in and the expectations that I put on myself. So, like I say, I started off at the 3Cs, which, like I say, is Catholic Community Centre. It was based in a church. Next to the church, there was a social club. So there was a lot of players from between 9 to 16 that come through all the different age groups, and then potentially went on. So if you try and think about this, some of the things that I talk about, this isn't only geared towards people that want to be footballers. This is geared towards people that just want to try and get on in life. This could be geared towards an interview, taking an exam, competing with someone else to get a job, or a college course or whatever. So this isn't solely based around football. So try and remove the ball from this and think about where the bigger picture type thing. So I got offered the opportunity to go to Walsall, Wolverhampton, West Brom, Aston Villa, Derby County, and 3 or 4 other clubs. My dad thought it was a good idea for me to move away from Birmingham and go and live in Derby. So at 16, I left home. I was taken to I didn't know anyone in Derby either, by the way. I was dropped off at a house in Derby with a host family, and just expected then just to carry on. Now, as you can imagine, being taken out of your home environment with your, it's my mum and my brother, taken right out of my comfort zone and put into a stranger's house with, Derby. There's even a different accent. They don't talk like Brummies. They had different ways about them. So I had to get used to a lot of different things and fit in quickly. But with that, it actually starts to make you a little bit more robust and a little bit not as overwhelming to change. So I found myself coming through the ranks at Derby. So I've done a 2-year apprenticeship, got into the first team at 19, played for Derby County, got a promotion, also found myself out of the team at different times. So, dealing with being in form, being out of form, having to deal with criticism from fans, which is obviously something that's, with kids nowadays, it's the social media thing, where there's a lot of pressure and understanding actually what should I be listening to and what don't I need to listen to, and how much opinion do I value on someone that I don't actually know. So I worry too, would you worry too much about someone's opinion that actually doesn't have any effect on your life or is not even in your life? But we tend to listen to negativity more than positivity. So that's something that I learned quite early on in my career, that I had to be quite focused on the journey that I was on. Like I say, came through the ranks there, found myself in the first team at Derby County. Got into, we moved from the baseball ground, which was an old stadium, to a brand new one. I subsequently got sold for £4 million to Blackburn Rovers. Blackburn Rovers got relegated from the Premier League into the Championship, so I got sold again to Coventry, and Coventry City got relegated, so I got sold again to Everton. Now, you might think, why does this guy why do teams keep buying this guy when he keeps getting relegated? And I can assure you, it was not my fault, guys. It was everyone else's apart from mine. I was doing all right. But no, I was part of a team that wasn't doing very good. But again, not worrying about what everyone else was doing. I focused a lot on myself and making sure that my standards were high, my preparation was right, my diet was right. I was very focused on what I was doing. I then subsequently had 7 years at Everton, where I probably played the best part of my career. I had a really good time at Everton, competing against Liverpool and playing against great players like Steven Gerrard and the Manchester United team of Ronaldo, all the top players. Was very lucky to also play for the Republic of Ireland, so playing against players like Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, the real Ronaldo. You might not, if anyone's too young in here, you may not remember the actual
We
real
all know
Ronaldo.
the real Ronaldo.
the real Ronaldo, yeah. So I had a lot of great memories. I was lucky enough to get selected to go to the World Cup in 2002 in South Korea, which again was another great experience. But yeah, so where I find myself today, I've sort of fast forwarded quite a bit there, because sometimes when someone's talking about themselves, it can be, well, where does this fit into me? So I've tried to skip this and get more onto actually what can you get out of this presentation. I'm currently now coaching England under 20 team. Very, very, very lucky, in a privileged position to coach some fantastic players, the likes of Jadon Sancho, Phil Foden, Flo Balogun, some excellent players that are coming through, and players that maybe you might not have heard of now, but within 2 or 3 years you definitely would have. So on to the next bit of my slide. You might think, what's a carrot cake doing on the screen? But
that's my weakness. Wow.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking of that. I'm actually quite hungry now looking at that. So, but my thoughts behind this was, when I was asked to do the presentation, it's like when you're putting together a football player, or when you're making a cake, there's a lot of different ingredients that go into this. So if we were gonna take the carrot cake, for instance, if we took the carrots out, or the fruit, or the eggs, or the flour, the cake would not stay the same. Now it's exactly the same when you're trying to put together a footballer. So to be a footballer, or to be successful, and when I say successful, you judge your own success by your own standards. So I'm not saying I've got a son, for instance, my middle son, Connor, has got special needs. Success for him is totally different to my eldest son. Now, success for Connor might be learning to read. It might be making a cup of tea for himself. So my point is, you're judged by your own standards, not someone else's. So if you look at the football here, so to be successful, or to be or to get on in life, you need to be committed to whatever you're doing. And with commitment, I could go on and on of what commitment looks like for me. So that might mean going to bed early. That might mean looking at your diet. That might mean helping out the coach. That might mean helping out the teacher. That might mean, it could be anything. Commitment's a big thing. Being resilient. So anything that you try and do, I guarantee you will fail at it at some point. Now, the failure is not the problem, because everyone fails. Like I say, if I had, God, what would it be? 25 years of being a professional footballer, or just under, I would have had more failures than successes, 100%. But the difference was, every time I failed, I tried a little bit harder again. I didn't give up. And now, sometimes the easiest thing is to give up, to give in, because if you imagine you've got 2 little birds on either shoulder, you've got a positive bird and you've got a negative one, and we tend to listen to this one, the negative one, that's got the loudest voice. But sometimes it's the hardest thing is to actually, you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to listen to the positive one. You've got to have desire. Anything that you love is easy to do. So you've got to really believe in it, and have that desire to keep on competing. I'll come to belief last. You've got to be robust. That means you have to keep on going. You have to look. to do any job that has any kind of physicality, you have to be robust. That means you have to live your life properly, because if your body keeps breaking down because of the food that you're putting in it, or the weights that you're not lifting, or the too much weight that you're putting on, or whatever, you have to make sure that you're looking after yourself. Character. If I select players now, I've got 45, 46 players in my under 20s phase, right? I can only pick 22, right? So 22 players or 23 players are going to miss out. Character, when I'm picking a player, is very, very important. What are they like? Are they bubbly? Are they moody? Can they get on with everyone? Are they polite? Are they on time? All the little things, character's a big thing for me. It's that big that I've actually put it twice. Application, how applied are you to it? How much do you actually want it? Attitude, I don't really like this word attitude, because sometimes when you say attitude, you associate that with, well, he's got a bad attitude. Actually, when you're dealing with, we're all different. We're absolutely all different. So not everyone, you cannot treat everyone the same, because everyone is not the same. So you have to find a way to get to that. Like, from a coaching point of view, I have to find a way to get the best out of my players. So some need more support than others. Some need a little bit more encouragement. Attitude is so important. The last two things for me, luck. You need to be lucky. And if we're just taking football as an example, to make it as a professional footballer, you have to have extreme luck, because everyone's trying to do. You have to be in the right. I know that this is an easy thing to say, being in the right place at the right time, but it's true. You know, for you to have that one performance when that one person's watching, or someone in your team has been left out, and you get a chance and you perform really well, you know, that little bit of luck. And the last one, character. Like I say, character is so important. It's so important to anything that you do, especially around football. Big thing for me, this is, if you don't put any effort in, don't be surprised with the outcome. So, and I'll reverse that. Don't expect too much if you're not trying very hard. So sometimes I go and watch a Sunday league game, and I'll watch over 35s, which are players that are a little bit older now. And when they miss a chance, or when they kick the ball out of play, they look disappointed. But I always think to myself, unless you're practicing constantly, and unless you're totally committed to what you're doing, don't be disappointed when it doesn't work. Only be disappointed if you're putting 100% effort in all the time. And that goes back to this, you know, your attitude, your commitment, the luck, the resilience, the desire, the belief. And by the way, if I was to say to anyone on this forum now, can you coach any of these attributes? If you just have a look at the screen, you cannot coach any of these guys. You can't coach it. The coach cannot put this into you. The coach can't make you have a good attitude, or the teacher can't make you have a good attitude. It can't make you lucky. It can't make you committed. It can't make you resilient. This all comes from ourselves. And it comes back to the last point, which I forgot, guys, which is so important. I don't even know if I've spelled that right. Belief. You have to believe in yourself. You have to have faith in yourself. It's so important. You can't succeed or get on in life if someone else has got faith in you. You've got to have faith in yourself to start with. And then when you've got faith and belief in yourself, that will radiate outwards. I guarantee it. We've just spoke about that, effort versus expectation. Real big thing that I speak to my players about when I'm coaching, like, put the effort in, and then you should expect more. If you don't put the effort in, expectation levels lower it. Right, this is just my lasting attributes that I really think are important. You've got to have faith. Like I say, you've got to believe in yourself. The top left one. Expectation. Expect a lot of yourself. Have high standards, no matter what your predicament is. And I've come from absolutely having nothing, where, you know, we had nothing when I was growing up. One parent family, like I say, in a really poor area from Birmingham. not on the breadline, but like we didn't have any, I couldn't afford to go and watch a football match. I couldn't afford new football boots, all these kind of things. And this, we're going back now to the 80s. So, but I expected a lot because I tried hard at everything. Listen, make sure that you get people around you that are very that have got the same belief in you that you've got in yourself, and listen to them. Because if someone cares about you and they give you good advice, it's important that you take it on board. Because sometimes, especially when you're going 100 mile an hour in one direction, you sometimes miss things. So listen to your family and listen to your friends, because they might have something that can help you. Be yourself. It's so important that you'll watch people on telly, or you'll see some of your peers and you'll try and be like them and you'll try and mimic them. But it's so important that be yourself. People will love you if you're yourself. So be yourself. The next thing underneath, have fun. Like any time that I was playing really well, or any time where I was happy at a football club or at a job, I was having fun. It was enjoyable every day. They say, get a job that you love and you never work a day in your life. Really important. And the last thing which I speak to my players about a lot is respect. It's so important that you treat people exactly how you want to be treated, and you respect everyone, regardless if they're the fella that cleans the boots and helps pack the skips, or it's the actual owner of the club. You respect everyone. And that's it, guys. That's the end of the show. Hopefully I've give you a bit of food for thought there. Like I say, sometimes it's difficult when you're not in the flesh to sort of get the mood of the room. And I'm sure there's one or two questions, hopefully, that can, like I say, I don't know the answers to everything, by the way, but I'll try and pass on as much as I can.
Wow, thank you very much, Lee. That was amazing. And these are the sort of things we hear quite a lot, but to hear it from a professional, it makes it more realistic. I mean, hearing this, looking back at my small career in the amateurs, I can see where I failed when you put the illustration with the ball. I think commitment was something that I did not pretty much have. And when we do all the questions, please have your video on so you can be seen. So if you have a question, raise your hand so I can put you on the spotlight so they can see you and you can answer a question, and I will take the floor. For the first question, coming from a footballing background, and now you're obviously now a coach in such a high level. I mean, being a coach of England under-20 is as important as being the coach of the senior squad, because you're literally leading the future players of the national team. I mean, for you being a Republic of Ireland international, how did you get into the England setup? I mean, this is difficult, and I'm talking about people from backgrounds. People always assume, oh, I'm not from this country, so I may not be able to get to this place. But for you, how did you get from being in the Republic of Ireland? People will have expect you to be maybe Republic of Ireland coach or head coach, but you are the actual England under-20 coach. So how did you get to that transition?
So the first time I was asked to get involved with England, I coached the under-19s, and I was at Brentford at the time. I was doing the. Oh, have I gone off?
No, you're all good.
Right. I was doing Brentford at the time. So AD Boothroyd took over the under-19s, and he asked me to come in and coach. So it was through AD that I got asked, who was a former manager that I played for. He was, I was lucky enough that he'd asked me, he'd seen something that he thought I could help with in terms of the standard that I was coaching at. So I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to go and coach the under-19s. And then I got the opportunity to go and coach Man City. So I left England the first time, went to Man City and coached there. And then I was lucky enough I got asked to go back to the under-21s a couple of years later. So I think in terms of, am I still on?
Yeah, still on. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in terms of, you know, I'd probably been coaching for 7-8 years before I got the opportunity to coach for England. It wasn't early in my coaching career. Like I say, I made a lot of mistakes. I coached in Coventry's under 18s, Coventry's under 20s, Brentford. I worked for the Premier League. I worked for Man City. I worked for Birmingham City. So I sort of worked my way up the levels. And like I say, I feel very, very privileged and lucky to have the opportunity to coach the players that I coach and work with the people that I do. And obviously, it's you know, it's great to see the younger players come through.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, that's great. I've got questions on the group chat. If you not shy, you want to come on, you want to bring your video on and talk, you can do that. But I'll ask the questions from the chat.
Yeah.
Let's see, we've got quite a few in there. Okay, what are the playing attributes you think are the most important when you're scouting a player?
Yeah, who says this?
This is from Julian Saka.
Is Julian's camera not working? Can he come on? Because I'd like to get his opinion on what he thinks first.
Julian, can you come on? Yeah, there you go.
There he is.
All right, Julian, ask your question. Your voice. You're muted. You're mute.
I think you muted him as the host. You might have to unmute him.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, hello.
Yep.
How are you, mate? You're okay?
You're muted again.
Yeah, hello.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah.
How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
I was just going to say it'd be good to get what your thoughts are first. What would you look for?
Personally, I'll look at their attitude, like when they're off the ball and on the ball.
Go on, talk to me about that then. What does that mean?
For example, like if they're off the ball, how they, let's say their team's in possession, how they're gonna influence play, like making third man runs and so on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously their first touch, how they manipulate the ball when it comes into them. Because if you have a good first touch, you can break a team down with one touch, and their vision of like just how they read the game as well. Yeah.
Out of possession,
how they read the game, like if they like obviously knowing their surroundings. So what else? Yeah, how they read the game. So if like I'm not too sure, but yeah, just how they read the game. Really.
So what position do you play?
Fullback.
Okay, I had a feeling you were going to say that. You know, left back or right back.
Yeah, both. I don't mind.
Both footed.
No, predominantly right, but I like playing on the left.
Okay. You like playing left back?
Yeah.
Okay, so what if I was looking at a fullback? I'd first of all, I'd want to say 1v1 defending. What are you like defending 1v1? Okay. Next thing I'd say is, do you understand your position when the ball is on the opposite side? So defending crosses, where are you? What are you doing? Okay. The next thing I'd like to know is like, what are you like when you make a mistake? So what's your reactions like? Do you look like you get a bit down? Do you look like it takes you 2-3 minutes to get back into the game, or are you just bang back on it? Then the next thing I'd want to know is, what are you like in possession? Can you see a pass? What are you like when you're receiving the ball? End product, can you cross it?
Yeah.
If you're playing left back and you're constantly cutting back in onto your right foot, how's that affecting the team in the way that we play? That's what I'd want. That's what I'd want to look at. Then I'd probably go athletically. Do you look like you can turn quickly? Do you look like you can run? What's your stride pattern like? Are you short and sharp, or do you look like you can open your legs up? So there are a lot of the things that I'd look for, but I'd look as well. How do you interact with your teammates? Are you a positive influence on them, or are you one that's throwing your arms around? And you know, what are you interacting like with the bench? You know, if the manager shouts some instruction onto you, are you totally ignoring it, or are you actually listening to him? So like I say, when I put attitude on the football, that wasn't in terms of is it a good attitude or is it a bad attitude. It's just like what's it like? Are you open-minded to, are you good with your teammates? Are you how do you manage mistakes? How do you manage good news and bad news? If your team concedes a goal quite early, are you one that goes down, or are you one that can actually get your teammates going and generate a lot of things? So I look for a lot of things, to be honest. It's not, but straight away, the first thing I'd want to look for is like, just like, are you a team player? But first of all, that's what I look for, and then I'd start stripping it back down. So there's a lot of things there. There's a lot of things there, but like I say, hopefully, ultimately, you know yourself. You would know exactly. Like you watch football on telly, and you'll watch. So you watch. Did you watch footy today? Have you been watching the football?
No, not today. No.
Okay, so like say for instance, if I said to you, what's the attributes of Trent Alexander-Arnold and what's the attributes of Reece James, you'd be able to pick one, yeah. And if I said to you, all right, me and you've got 50 million quid, we've got to buy one of these. Who are we going for? So both of them had pluses and minuses, wouldn't they? So that's it's almost like if someone's looking at you and they're looking at and they're judging a fullback, where do you fit into that?
Yeah.
So hopefully that's answered your question.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, nice to meet you too. I have another question though. Is that okay?
Let's do it.
What is your views on young English players going abroad? Like, let's say if a player here is not getting as much game time in whatever non-league or pro, and they have an opportunity to go abroad to play pro, what is your view on that?
I think there's some really good examples, ain't you, when you think about Jaden at the minute, and you look at Jude as well. They've both gone and done really well. I think it's really important the individual. I think it's not as easy as to say, well, if you're not playing for England, you should go to Germany or you should go to Spain or Italy. I think it's got to be down to the individual, because I knew myself personally at 19, 20, I don't think I'd have been ready to move to another country and just learn another language, eat different food and all that kind of thing. I don't think personally, but some players are better equipped to that. So I think I don't think it's as easy as, we're not getting them through in England or the Premier League, so let's go to Germany. I don't think it's as clear as that, but so it suited some money. I mean, if you look at some of the lads that have gone over to different countries, they've been brilliant, haven't they? So what's your thoughts on it?
I'm not really too sure. That's why I asked you.
Yeah.
Like I'm 50-50 with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's always got to be horses for courses. Where are you playing at the minute? Are you playing at a team?
Non-league. Yeah.
Okay, where are you playing?
Chesington and Hook, and I'm on a dual registration from Tuna Mitchell.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Keep it going.
Thank you.
You're working hard.
Yeah. Well, obviously lockdown, so all we can do is train by ourselves.
Yeah, but I mean, for me though, for me, I'm thinking if we're on lockdown, like try and do more than everyone else then, because it's a chance now for you to come. Because as soon as we come back, you've got a chance of standing out. If we've got an hour's exercise, I'll be doing shuttle runs. I'll be doing box to boxes as much as I can. Like this is a good opportunity for everyone now to. Especially if you want to come through to create that gap between the lads. My kids will be upstairs now on the Xbox, playing FIFA and that. Like, get yourself out there, do more than everyone else. It's an opportunity. So, but I hope that's helped, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thank you for your question, Julian. Anyone wants to come on and ask a question, put your video on and ask your question. While we're waiting for that, okay, Jerry. You're up. Unmute yourself. You're muted.
Hello.
Yeah.
Jerry.
Hi. I was just wondering if you are under 18.
It's a bit low. Can you raise your volume up a bit, please, Jerry?
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah.
It's better.
Much better.
If you're a young player and you're not getting first team minutes, in a Premier League side, for example, and you wanted to, do you think it's better to play in the under 18s, 23s for a Premier League side, or to play for the first team in a League One side or a lower league side, non-league?
Yeah, similar to the last question. I think everyone will find their level. Like there's no timeline that you should be putting on yourself to come through, because everyone develops at different times. So, say for instance, I played in the same team as Rooney coming through at Everton. So Rooney comes into Everton and he's training with the first team at 15. He's playing in the first team at 16. He moved to Manchester United when he was 18. But if I put myself in the same position when I was 15, I was nowhere near like what Wayne was at 15. So like there's different levels. But Wayne was physically, mentally, and technically ready to play in the first team at that age. So I think, you know, the building your foundations as a player, that might mean that you have to play 2 years in the under 18s, 1 year or 2 years in the under 23s, and then get a first team opportunity. Because ultimately, when you get into a first team, that's when you start getting really judged. So it's what you're doing up until that point. So what's your strength and conditioning like? What's your diet like? What's your fitness like? In terms of what's your attitude, in terms of your mentality, do you get put off too easily, or are you actually mentally strong and you're constantly pushing yourself? So in terms of I wouldn't be in a rush. I don't know if we're talking about yourself or just in general. I won't be in a rush to get into a first team. But what I would be doing, I'll be doing something every single day that tries to make myself better. So like I'm not waiting for the coach to actually come and say, "There you go, Lee. There's your opportunity." I'm going to go, no. Like I'm going to earn that myself when I'm actually ready. So does that help you or not?
Yeah, thanks.
What are your thoughts on it?
I mean, at least if you're getting game time, that's what I thought. Just like the last question, game time is very important because you get experience, especially if you're in a first team compared to like a.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you for your question, Jerry. Keep
Well
them coming. Keep them coming while the time is there. If not, I will ask questions from the chat. But if you have a question, just put your video on and ask your question. Okay, let me ask a question from the chat. Okay, I like that question because I think that's a lot of us, to be honest with you. At what age is it late for a person to start a football career?
Is it too late?
Is it too late? Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, is it too late?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to put an age on it. If you look at, I was watching something yesterday, and is it Mark Wright that is the only way he's Essex fella?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, for Crawley Town. Yes.
Yeah, he just played for Crawley at 34.
I think he's 36. So, I think. Yeah.
Is he 36? So yeah. So in terms of, you know, if you'd have said to me he's 36 too old, I'd have probably said it might be a little bit too old. Like I said, I think Jamie Vardy come through late. There's lots of examples of players that play non-league and then come onto the scene a little bit later, and that could be a lot down to the physicality, or you know, there's an expression in football, or the penny dropped. You know, the penny just dropped in. That means like, you know, you'd finished growing, you were maturated, you were strong, or you actually grew into your body, and you had the mentality then to actually what your mind wanted to do, your body let you. So it's in terms of like I said in the chat that we had before with the presentation, people develop in their own time. So I don't think you should put yourself under too much pressure, where you could look on a list and say, well, I should be playing in the youth team at 18, I should be playing in the under 23s at 19, I should be in the first team at 20, because it doesn't work like that for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, you should, you know, and that's what I was talking about, like keeping your attitude right, keeping your mentality strong, being robust, dealing with setbacks, and you'll come through when you're ready. Or like I say, not everyone can be a footballer, but you could still be successful in whatever walk of life you choose to go now.
Great. I hope that answers your question, Ernest.
Yeah.
Don't give up, and just apply what you want to do, train, eat well, and never give up. Any questions? Put your video on. Actually, I don't even read the chat. I want people to interact directly with Lee. It's a great opportunity. So come on and ask your question. So don't forget to unmute yourself. Let's go, Desmond.
Well, my name's not Desmond, but I'm using my little brother's tablet. I've got a question. have you got any advice for like college football? Because right now I do A levels whilst playing college football.
Brilliant.
have you
Okay,
got
yeah. So is it like one of them 50-50 colleges where you do 50% college work and then football?
Yeah, it's like it's full time, both of them. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So where'd you do that?
SGS with David Hockaday. Do you know?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I actually go and help down at the Gordon Strachan's got an academy down in Rugby called the Strachan Academy, and it's college and football. Sounds like the same program or similar program to what you're on. I talk to and I see a lot of the lads that are on the program. They're trying to get into professional and they're trying to get on. And what I see is, if I'm being honest, I see players that are really motivated, and the longer they're in the program, I see their motivation come down and down and down. So, and that's where, that's where you need to keep faith in yourself. A lot. If you believe that you can be a footballer, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that have got to go your way, but I'd say 90% of it you control yourself. You control your attitude. You control your diet. You control how much effort you put in. You can control how you interact with your teammates. You can control how you're living your life in terms of like, am I a positive person, or do I always think it's raining? So my advice would be work as hard as you can. Work as hard as you can. Which I know it's an easy thing to do, but I'm not exaggerating. When I was playing football and I was a footballer, I tried my hardest every single day, like every day, because I wasn't very good, and I was playing in the Premier League. My effort had to be at the maximum every day just to compete and just to be on the level with everyone else. So if you've got a little bit of ability and you can add with that effort, you've got a good chance. But you got to keep believing in yourself. You've got to work harder than everyone else. Little things like if you've got to be on the training pitch for 10 o'clock, get there at 9:30. Go and practice get the balls and go and practice with practice whatever you want to do. And after the session, stay behind and do extra, and do that every single day. And then in the match, like, just try your best. Try your best at everything you do. So hopefully that answers your question. It's like I say, I think I like them college programs. I think they're a brilliant idea. And with that as well, make sure you're trying as hard with your education as you are with football, because you want something at the end of it. You want to make sure you're not just going there just to pass your time. And it's really, you can't choose. For me anyway, you can't. It's not a switch that you can. Well, I'm going to try. I'm not going to try education, but I'm going to try football. It's a mentality thing. Just do your best. Like me, for instance, I left the school. I didn't take one exam. I've never sat in a room with other students and done an exam ever, because I thought I didn't need to, and it's one of my biggest regrets that I've got no qualifications. So I was so lucky. If I didn't make it at football, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd probably be working on a building site with my brother. But I was lucky. So, like I say, that effort's got to be there on everything you do. So hopefully that's answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Cheers,
much.
Desmond, even though your name's not Desmond.
Who's next? Who's coming with a question for Lee to answer? Okay, Rizzo, I hope that's your name.
Yeah. Wait, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. I've got a question. So basically, I was wondering, if you're like in an academy and you are competing for like a scholarship, for instance, and you don't get the scholarship, what would you like? What would your thoughts be on to do that after? After you don't, like, if you get in or not, for instance.
If my thoughts was that I really wanted to be a footballer, I'd keep going, because I try not to let one person's opinion have a real effect on my whole future. Because if you think about it, there's 92 league clubs, there's 92 full-time clubs. That's not even including some of the non-league ones, which a lot of them now are full-time. So one person's opinion or two people's opinion out of the 92, it shouldn't put you off. That's why I talk about be resilient, like handle a setback, right? shake someone's hand and say thank you, and go and try somewhere else. That's what I'd do. But what I would try and do is, as well as, and it's difficult, I'd ask for the feedback. I'd say, where do you think I'm short? And then I'd actually think about that. Are they right? Do I need what? So, like, say, for instance, if you're a defender and you're not very brave at blocking shots, or we can't defend 1v1, or I'd actually be honest with myself. Say, actually, do I need help with that? Right? Do I need to work on that? And that's what I do. I wouldn't give up at that. I wouldn't. I'd look at that as a speed bump rather than a dead end.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, my thoughts were like, I wouldn't think it's like the end of the world. Like, I think that, okay, yeah, I try to get as much feedback as possible. And then obviously going from that, I try to take what they've said and work on that, and then just try my best to help, like, make sure I get better in that. And then obviously try to get an opportunity like somewhere else. Yeah,
good. That's right. That's 100% the right attitude. 100%. Well done, lad.
Thank you.
Cheers, Rizzo.
Thank you very much, Rizzo. We actually got 15 minutes left, so try and come on fast as you can. Bring your question in so you don't miss out. So anyone else coming in for a question, put your video on. Okay, I've got lots of questions since no one is coming on yet. What age is it too late to get scouted by an academy, Lee? What age?
I would say, well, you've got what is it? Is it under 8s up till under 18s? Or under 23. So I'd say you've got between 7 and I would imagine 20 maybe. So there's quite a big window there. There's quite a big window of opportunity. But like I say, for me, being in an academy isn't I wouldn't be as single-minded as to say, if I'm not in an academy, I'm not going to be a footballer, because it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
I've played with a lot of players that didn't go to an academy and went straight to professional because they were at college, or because they stayed on at school, or they just come into the game a little bit later. Yeah. So, what I've noticed with players that maybe miss out a lot of the academy, they're probably a little bit more not as clean cut. They're not as clean cut in terms of they're not as stiff, like, especially flair wise. If I know there's in different parts of England it's called different things. So like you got like power league, or what else is it called? Leisure leagues, or whatever it's called, or cages. And you can see players that have played a lot of small sided, 1v1s kind of thing. Whereas in academies it tends to be in bigger areas with bigger groups.
It's quite broad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like an example of that would be like, even though Jaden did come through an academy, Jaden played a lot of small-sided power league kind of situation, and you can see that because and
that's when you got the skills from. Yeah.
Oh my God! Like, and Damari Gray and Jaden and Tammy Abrams and players like this are very, very good in small-sided and sharp. And I think sometimes, if you've been used to just being coached, you sort of
robotic,
a little bit robotic. I put myself in that robotic. I don't think I ever done a trick in my whole career, to be fair.
All right, bring your questions in. I don't want to read from the chat, to be honest with you. I want to see your face, and I'm sure Lee also wants to see your face, so we can make this personal. Put your camera on and ask your question. Come on, guys, let's not be shy. So one in a only time opportunity. Oh, let's go to Paul, because
hi, Lee. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the information. Just a quick one. I was asking, for young players, should money be a motivation at all? From your experience, seeing young players coming in, is this something they should be looking at, or they should just forget that at all and just focus on the skill or the talent?
It's a really good question, and I think it's, like I say, should money motivate you? It does actually motivate some players. It does motivate some players. There's no doubt about that. Some players want to be footballers. Some players have to be footballers. And the ones that have to be footballers, generally it's because they're from a poorer background and probably need that money to try and help their families. I would be in that category. I never did think about money, by the way. I always loved football, but it comes to a point where you're in football and it does become more business-like, and you feel, especially when it's sold, it's quite a strange scenario when the manager says, "We've agreed a fee for you. You're going to that club." It's almost, whoa! It's almost like you feel like a little bit of a piece of meat. Oh, actually, I'm happy here, but no, we've agreed a fee. We're happy with it. You can go. Oh, okay. So that's a bit. So it does become like that. But for younger players, for me, and that's what I spoke about on the presentation that I did. It's so important that you love football. It's so important that you enjoy it, because when times get tough, and they do, because you have a lot of setbacks, you've got to love what you do. You know, I'm sure I'm not telling you anything that you don't already know. Like, you've got to, football's got to be in your heart. You've got to love it. You've got to love that feeling of being on a pitch or practicing. But yeah, I can totally see, you know, I always talk about within coaching, you've got to get to the center of that player and find out almost like what they're there for, what's motivating them. So it might be they want to be the best player in the world. It might be that they want to move clubs. It might be one of that, you know, you've got to get to that middle of that, of what that actually is. You know, and money is very orientated in football. There's no doubt about that. I mean, and you know, there's you can see with the, you know, the riches of the Premier League and sometimes the impressions, but ultimately, you know, if you're playing in the Premier League, it's potentially because you absolutely love football. And I would always encourage all of the younger players, you know, you've got to love the game. You've got to love the game, because it's a brilliant game, you know, to play a game, be with your teammates. And if you do something well, regardless if you're a footballer or if you work in a bank or if you work at the Land Rover down the road, if you're really good at what you do, generally money comes along with that, if you know what I mean. So it's, but ultimately you've got to want to do it for the right thing, which is generally, yeah, because you actually love what you're doing. I hope that's answered it. What are your thoughts? Have you seen both sides?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because sometimes if the money is like just the only motivation, then at times it could lead you astray. But you can also put that out. At the end of the day, even if you love the profession, at the end of the day, you're also building a life out of that. So it's just a balance. Just that for young people, if you follow that too much, it may affect you. But I believe that as you train more, like you said, as you work more, as you develop the talent and the skill, not just in football, but whatever professions we have, at the end of the day, the quality will bring the money. Yeah, because if someone sees you and the quality, the skill is there, they are happy, like you said, to pay higher for your talent. But if that's not there, you cannot push the money to come to you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Thank you very much, Paul. Much
Good
appreciated.
question. Thank you.
Two more questions. We just got 10 minutes, so please, just two more questions. Then we'll let Lee to the closing remarks. Just two more questions. Literally, we just got 10 minutes. All right, Kevin, you're up.
I've got a question. I'd like to ask, could you suggest any trial opportunities for players trying to get scouted?
Oh, trial in terms of what do you mean?
Like trying to get into academies, like Premier League academies and stuff.
Yeah. So do you play for a team?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So are they any good? Are they a good team?
Yeah, Kettering Town.
Okay. Yeah. So I guarantee that at Kettering Town there'll be scouts watching. So like 100% there'll be scouts watching. If you imagine how many clubs there are in England, like everyone wants players. Like everyone wants players, and similar to the last money, there's only so many clubs that have got a lot of money. So everyone else is looking for that, almost like that diamond in the rough that they can bring in for cheap and develop and take through. So what I would do, someone gave me some great advice not the other day, but about 3 or 4 months ago, because I'm a big one for writing plans and writing out goals, and I need to do this and I need to do that. So I was talking to someone about, do you do the same? Have you got like goals and ambitions?
Yeah, I do.
Right. Okay. So me and you are in exactly the same boat then, in terms of, I think if I write it down and I give myself some structure, that I've got a better chance of achieving it. But the negative to that is sometimes you look beyond where you are. So I'd say to you now, what have you done today? What have you done today to do this, to help yourself get spotted and to kick on?
Not much really. I went work. I just got back.
Okay, but I know it was a bit of a poor question. But my point is, when everyone's not doing anything, that's when worry about what you've done today. Like, do your best today. And now that might be for you. It might be, do you know what? I need a rest day today. I need to relax. I've been to work. I need to relax because tomorrow I want my energy back because I want to do something. So what my point would be, concentrate on today and then concentrate on tomorrow after you've done today. Do the best every single day and then think about where you step. So say, for instance, you might say, do you play for Kettering's first team?
Under 18s.
Under 18s, right. So, and do you play every week?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Okay, so you're in the team constantly?
Yeah.
Yeah, and have they got a reserve team or a team above them? Or is it just the 18s and then the first team?
18s first team, yeah.
Okay, so what I'd say is, first of all, I want to play every single minute of every single game for the under 18s. And then I want to get in and around the first. So I want to start training with the first team. So it's almost like you saying to the first team manager or your coach, what have I got to do to get into the first team? What have I got to do to play at a better level? And he might say, you need to work harder at this, you need to do that. Right, brilliant. Now you've got a plan to work to. Do you know what I mean? You've actually got some what's name. So I wouldn't be worried about looking out the window too much on what Arsenal Academy and Tottenham and all them are doing. I'd worry about actually, what am I doing today? What am I doing to make me better?
Hello?
And then put me in a better position to compete.
Yeah.
Does that help or not?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
I'm trying to follow that advice at the minute for myself, because I was always thinking, right, I need to do this, I need that. And someone says, why don't you just do the best job you can, like today? And it almost like I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, maybe I should do. So go and get your tracksuit on and get yourself out there.
Thank you.
It's cold.
Cheers.
See you, lad.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you, Charles and Nathaniel, ask your questions at the same time, so Lee can finish it together. So
Hello?
Charles, start your question, and Nathaniel, ask your question quickly. Then we'll close.
Hello?
Yes, Charles. Yep.
Hey, mate, you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. I wanted to ask, you know, when like non-league football, do you think it's suitable for players who are not as physical, but they're still good on the ball and stuff like that?
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's suitable, but it's very hard.
Okay.
And like,
so
I feel like if they don't see you play, and they see like your physicality, they've already made a decision on you. If you get what I mean. Yeah.
So when any players that I've played with, and I'm talking about players like maybe a Robbie Keane or a Damien Duff, or players that I've coached, maybe a Phil Foden, players that aren't physically big players, but what they are is they're very, very skillful. They have great balance and they make decisions very quickly. So their touch is excellent. They never put themselves in a position where they're physically up against someone. Do you know what I mean? So you have to find a way to move the ball quickly and to get into spaces where you're almost taking away the physical contact and the physicality away from it. So you're using your brain more. So I think players like that stand out more. I think generally they've got a better understanding of space and awareness and touch. So in terms of can players like that play in non-league? Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they can. But maybe you have to find a way to be noticed within that. So that might mean moving the ball quickly, and it might mean maybe talking more and making sure your teammates can see where you are, so you're getting the ball more and you're getting it quicker. And then it's understanding that if I receive the ball and I'm up against 2 defenders, I might have to pass it and run. But if I'm up against 1 defender and it's 1v1, what does that mean?
You can take them on.
You can take them on. That's what I'd say. So it's finding a way. You have to remove the physicality from it, and it's almost going like I'll use my football superior knowledge in terms of the way that I play, and I'll use that instead of being physical.
Right.
Are you quick?
No.
You're not quick. But are you skillful?
Yeah.
Can you shoot?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's moving the ball quickly, touch, shoot, touch, cross, touch, through ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's passing the ball, run forward, 1-2s.
All right.
Amazing.
Don't worry about lifting them weights. Don't worry about them.
No, don't worry about that. You'll get so like me. Anyway, unfortunately, apparently we're gonna have to close it. There's another program just right after this. So I would like to thank Lee and the FA for giving us a chance to do this. Surely you had to ask the FA for the permission to do this, and I'm very thankful and grateful to have you here. It's been fantastic. Hopefully we can do this again. The youth, thank you for coming on and asking your questions. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope there's something in there a nugget that you can take forward and build yourself, not just in football, but in life in general. And I thank you for this. So if you don't mind, Lee, I'm going to share a quick prayer for our youths, and we'll end it.
Yeah.
Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the opportunity. Bless Lee and his family, the FA, and all the board and representative for allowing us to do this. We pray that everything that has been talked about, everything that's been discussed and presented will be something that will be with us, not just for the short term, but for the long term. We thank you, Lord Jesus, for what you've done and what you're about to do in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Any last word, Lee? And then we close.
No, I just want to say thank you guys for having me on. I hope I haven't come across as someone that knows every answer to everything, because I definitely don't. I wanted to hopefully try and be as honest and as helpful as I can. So I appreciate the opportunity. I know it's Sunday and the football's on. So and my boiler's just broke, so my kids are freezing at the minute in the front room. So I need to go and get a boiler for them. But
thank you.
Like I say, I appreciate you having me on, guys. Hopefully you found it interesting.
Great. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Lee. God bless you for what you've done.
Thank you.
Hopefully you could get your heaters on really quickly. Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone, and God bless you. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.